Hi, I'm Deane, and welcome back to a tutorial series where we build a design system in Sketch. This time, we're doing typography for desktop and mobile. Now we're here in Abstract again. The last part we didn't merge in our changes from brand colors and shared styles into the master file. We're going to create a new branch and see if it works. I mean, are we going to see that artboard? I don't know. It's the first time I've done this, so let's give it a go. Select new branch. Type in typography. Create branch. Fingers crossed. Okay, branch created. Now let's go edit in Sketch. Ooh, uncommitted changes. What does that mean? Looks like you have uncommitted changes on the brand, colors, and shared styles branch. To edit this file, please commit or discard your changes first. Well, that's something we've learned, right? Maybe an abstract, the person who made the branch, like me, is the one that has to commit it at the end of their day's work. Let's just go ahead and close that. I'm going to preview and commit so we don't lose anything that we did last time. I'm going to type brand, colors, and shared styles. Done. Commit our changes. That looked like it worked. But now at the top right, I've got a button that says update from master. So master has new changes. This branch needs updating before it can be merged. I don't know what that means. Let's click it and find out. Commit update. Okay, looks like we're in a good place. So let's merge this branch. And start a new branch called typography. Now let's move on and edit the file in Sketch. And here we are. We haven't lost anything. Fantastic. Now I've been thinking about this, and I'm probably going to rename everything from Deane system, which is a bit of a play on words on the design system's name, to design system. I'm going to go do that with this artboard. Do it for the artboards page up here at the top left. And here's a good opportunity to use the rename it plugin. If you've got more than one thing that you want to rename at a time, select all of them, go up to plugins, rename it, and find and replace layers names is what we're going to use today. We're going to go and find Deane and replace it with design. Let's go to the symbols page. I've got some more renaming to do, and that's changing styles to shapes. And I want to resize these surfaces. So I'm going to turn on my layout settings, go in, make them 88 by 88. And we'll do that for all of them. Move them into place. Zoom in, make sure they're all positioned properly. To make our typography, we're going to need an artboard. So let's duplicate this one. By selecting it, zooming out, holding down Option and Shift, dragging it over. And let's place it at around 2,500. Select it again, zoom in. Change its title to typography. Copy that. Come down to here. Rename the artboard. We're going to change this first H2 to desktop. I'm going to delete everything else. Let's see if we need to clean up. Nope, all we have is headings. Fantastic. Let's turn on the grid and our layout and guides. The first two headings are already here. We just haven't given them text style names yet. That's going to be H1 and that'll be H2. But instead of sending them now, we're just going to copy this. Move it down. Enter H1, L for left. Move this into here, to 208. Group this, put it in a folder called headings. We're going to select it and give it a text style. Drop down no text style and go to create new text style and enter DT for desktop, /H for heading, /H1, /black, which is its color, /left, which is its orientation. If we look at the panel, you can see that naming convention where you've got the platform, what I am, what's my name, what's my color, and then what's my orientation. Let's duplicate this. Grab the one at the bottom of it. Move this down. And this time it's going to be an H2, which will be 32 and 40. So 32 is the size and 40 is the line height. Create a new style. Change this to H2. And you can see we've got desktop H /H1 and H2. So naming conventions are starting to kick in as they did with the color styles and the shapes and the shadows. Let's rename it. Duplicate it. Grab the one at the bottom, move it down. We're just trying to give them enough space between each other. This one's going to be H3. And it's going to be 24 and 32. Let's move it up. Select it. Give it a text style of H3. Duplicate it. Move it down for H4. Create its text style. Now looking at this, we probably want a very large heading, but we can't call it H0. So let's just move everything down. Duplicate this. Move it up. And change this to 56 and 62. D for display. Let's go to here. And since it's a class, we're just going to append display onto H1. Select these four, move them back up. Close the gaps a little bit. That looks good. Now let's make some paragraph styles. I'm going to use Source Sans Pro, but you can use whatever you want. Let's duplicate H4. Move it down. Group it. Rename this folder paragraph. Move it on top of headings and then put headings back on top of paragraph. Change this to P, L. Change its typeface to Source Sans Pro. Weight to regular. And this is going to be 16 and 24. So dt/p/p again, and you'll find out why soon. black/left. It's just going to auto size that and move it back out. And I'm going to do that for the rest of the headings, so it resets their height. Selecting auto like this takes predefined width and heights and clears them. You can see that happening just there. Let's take all of these and change their width back to 208. All right. Let's move that into place. We're going to duplicate it. Move it down. And we're going to give this one a class of strong. We've got room to type that in here, so let's do that. Change it to bold. And add the class P strong there. Let's move this up a little bit, duplicate it, move it down, and the next one's going to be for errors. So I'm going to add the class error, change it back to regular, change its color to not our brand red, but a utility red. And we'll just use the default red that comes with Sketch for now. Create its text style. I'm going to name this one Utility Red. Whoops. Just going to edit that and take strong out of it and add error. There you go. Duplicate this one. Select the one at the bottom. And you're going to need some small text as well. And we're going to go as low as 14 and 18. Change this to P small. Change its color back to black. And add its text style. Now we need some links or A tags. Duplicate that. Move it down. Group it. Rename it links. Move that out. Move it back down. And we're going to call this one DTAA. Which pretty much equates to A tag left. We're going to duplicate this for the hover state. Add the class. Come over here, rename this to a hover. Now hover style for us is going to be an underline when they hover over it. Let's click on options, add the underline, go up here, change its name to hover. You can duplicate this and set an active state. And our active state is going to take it back to normal. Change its color to secondary 1. And we'll change the name to active secondary 1. Let's duplicate the top one, put that in a group, because now we're going to make our list styles. Move that above headings, move it back below links to keep it organized. Move it down and change it to lie out. We're also going to have to add bullet as the style here. And go over to here, go to options, go to list type, and change this to bulleted. Change its name again to bullet. Duplicate it. Move the bottom one down and change this to number. Change its name. Zoom out, turn everything off. Now these are all the left aligned ones. We're going to now go and make the centered versions and the right aligned ones. And all we're going to do there, after we've turned everything back on, is duplicate each one, move it over to the next couple of columns, center it, and change the name at the end to center. And that's because Sketch lacks character styles, but has paragraph styles. So you can't have a paragraph of text that's one typeface, and within that, have another typeface. Duplicate this one again. Right align it, and then change its name to right. You can now go into H1 display black, center, left. What? Yeah, it's getting late again, and this is pretty much what happens, so let's keep going. Let's change that to left. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the rest of the heading styles and the paragraph styles, but probably not the link styles or the list styles. I'm also going to bring in a different version for each one for primary color and reversed white. So we've got a bit of a selection to work with. I'm going to fast forward this and hopefully end up with the same result I do. But all you have to do is follow the steps I did with H1 display and we'll be fine. Right, with that done, let's select headings and paragraph, group them, change this to black, even though it's got the error style and the hover style in there. That's okay because we're not going to change all of them. Duplicate this, move it over, and select all the headings and change their color to primary. We can select P and strong, plus all these small styles, and change them to primary. We're going to delete all the error styles and move small up. All we do now is select each one, create a new text style, and change black to primary. And since I'm going to do that to everything that's left, it's fast forward time again. See you soon. Let's change this folder to primary. Duplicate it again. Move it down. Give it some space because we're now going to make all of these white. Let's go grab the red rectangle that's behind this white. Color swatch, come back, select all of them, change the color to white. Where did they all go? Oh my God. Change their folder to white. Place the rectangle underneath and then just resize it. We're going to have to bring it over to the middle and to the end of that gutter. So 720 wide. Okay, looks good. And some more fast forwarding time as we change the word primary and all of these to white. Now, if everything's gone well, you'll see what I'm seeing here, where H has H1, black, primary, and white, and they're different layouts. H1 display has the same thing. Yeah, it's all looking good. And why this is powerful, if we go back to one of our artboards, and we add some text, those styles now can be applied to it. And changed to any other style pretty quickly. Let's now change it to P, primary, center. And of course, if you change the typeface, the weight, and settings for any of those, they will be reflected throughout your whole sketch file. Let's delete this. Go back. Since the mobile styles aren't going to fit there, let's rename this to desktop. Come back out, duplicate the entire artboard and move it over to 5000. Rename it to mobile. And change this heading to mobile as well. Now we're not going to do all of them. We'll probably just do H1 display, H1 and H2 because H3 and H4 are going to be all right. Let's delete everything from H3 down and those styles, all of them. Do the same here. Deselect the red rectangle. Scale it up a little bit. Move it up. Turn on our layout settings. Make sure it's at the top of one of those baselines. Maybe give it a bit more space. And just to clean up, let's move the white styles all the way over to the left. To make all the mobile styles, we're going to go down a scale. So from H1 display, it's going to go from 56 to 48 and from 62 to 56. Let's select them all. 56, all the H1s, after we'd selected them. We'll go to 32 and 40 in all the H2s. We'll go down to 24 and 32. Let's create their names by changing DT at the front of the name to M for mobile. And let's see what we've got. Select one of them. Okay, we've got the DT list and then the M list for headings. Okay, that all looks good. In our layers panel, we're going to grab the two artboards that we've just made and drag them above the top color, just so we have everything in order from bottom to top. We've got Design System Brand at the bottom. The second one is Typography Desktop, and the third one is Typography Mobile. Okay, let's merge this branch in. We're going to the bottom and going Preview and Commit. Typing in Typography, Desktop and Mobile. Done. Commit changes. Merge branch. Let's scroll down and see if everything's there. All right, we've got the typography artboards and everything we made last time along with the changes. Cool. Okay, I'll see you next time for typography, iOS and Android, and have a good week. Bye.